Hello and welcome to Geekatplay Studio Tutorial. In these tutorials, we'll continue exploring animations inside the Vue. And right now, I will want to look a little bit more on the timeline options and the span line. So to access timeline, we have several options. One, we can click in our icon to access timeline. Next, we can go on Display Timeline and click on Show Timeline or press F11 for shortcut. So let's access. When you click, it's sometimes maybe open for you the animation wizard. We don't need it at that time, so let's close it. And right here on the bottom, we have our timeline available. Couple things to kind of reminding about this. You can set in which way you want to display. Currently, it says by the time. You can set by the frames or frame per second or other ones. Also, if you right click with your mouse, you can drag your timeline. Okay, if you press Control and right click with mouse, you can zoom in and out of the time frames. Okay, so here's our timeline. Also, other important features, it is keyframing. The keyframe after keyframe will allow you to set keys automatically if you modify any properties in the objects that can be animated. So we'll come back to this in a second. And also we have navigations. We'll look on navigation again, but mostly important right now, we will look on these options so we can expand our previews, our span lines, and our properties. So let's create a sphere. Just place its sphere anywhere, right here. And we need to add a keyframe to the properties of our sphere. So if we right click, we'll just add keyframe to properties. Next, we will move our timeline. Doesn't matter to any time, and we'll move our sphere. The one thing you notice, we have it no times, nothing is added because we don't have it any automated keyframe enabled. If we did enable our keyframe, you will notice that any time when we change any properties, it will automatically create keyframe and will have it animations. So it is plus and minuses for both sides. The one, it will help you to create animation. So let me show the both plus and minus. First, let's create another keyframe. We have it right now available. So in case if you don't have a keyframe, and for example, you right here and you want to adjust position of your object or other properties, and without automatically creating keyframe, now when I'm start moving, you notice I lost my adjustments because it just snapped back to the automations was creating before. But again, another case, if you don't have it enable automatic keyframe, it may prevent you from creating some errors and mistake by accidentally clicking on some object and adjusting. So they're both very important features, and in my cases, very often I just used automatic keyframing. So let's right now go ahead and expand our options. We have our properties. So where we have it, our positions, orientations, and other properties available for us. We can preview specifically automation just for these options. As well, we can modify them with the filters or additional functions. Next, we can expand, and this is we have it curves. The other ones, it's have it preview, so it will when we click, you notice right here, system will create very fast preview window for us. And this time, I don't want a preview window, so I will disable what I want to look. It's a curves. What is meaning curves? It's mean in a graph representation of the changing properties for our object. It can be any properties that is available to us to animate. So let's look very fast on a position, and we'll click on position X. So X, it's how our object will move from left to right. So right here we can watch. Again, one thing you can notice right here on a span line, it is not totally straight line. It's a little bit curvy and flatter on the beginnings. So this is the reason is why it's what called easy in, easy out. It's meaning imagine that when you have a constant line, this will be constant velocity, or a changing of the speed of your object will be start the same speed, same amount of the distance be crossing in the time. So let's say right here we're moving, and you notice it's slower. Now we have a little bit faster change, and again slow down. Okay, to make this more obvious, we can modify the spline. And to modify, you can right here you have it ability to change the velocity and tension. So we can increase, you can notice right by left clicking and dragging, we can actually increase the density on this. As well, we can change the velocity by moving and adjusting. So if we want to our object start very fast to going on the beginning, we can increase, and you notice right this point, it's a little bit preview, our object gone very fast and slow down on the beginning. So right here, it's where we modify that velocity. So let's do a couple things. Let's say I want my object start very, very slow. We'll say I'm going back, and I want end like very slow as well. So now if we preview, it's beginning very slow, kind of accelerating on middle and stop. Also other things, see, if I go way up and I have it going up on my X and going down. So let's preview what this one does. Notice it's have a little bit bouncing effect because it's past my X point right here, distance where it was set, and it's coming back. So right here you can preview the point what's happening. So we're gonna pass our original mark because right here we specify that, and we're going back. This is effect. It's what you sometimes maybe observe. It's what called the bouncing. Sometimes maybe you create object and it doesn't go directly to this point. It's kind of bouncing out and going away. And the reason is why it's happened because the compensations for this easy in and easy out. For example, if you have another point and your another point maybe do some other velocity, try to smooth, like in this case right here, you will notice now you have this overcompensations that will happen with your velocity. So to correct those overcompensations, sometimes you need to go inside the spline and adjust the velocity. The other things also, some object may does not require the smooth velocity, so you can change this at any time. You can need to select your frame on this, right click, and in the pop-up menu now you have a lot of new options that are available for you to modify. You can have it numeric value, and by default it says smooth weighted or easy in, easy out. You always can switch to linear. Linear is will allow us to switch without this curving. So let me, for example, we have it right here and we have it overcompensating our velocity. So if I don't want overcompensating, I can go to linear, and you notice it switch right now going straight. So if we preview, see now we're going straight. We still have a little bit overcompensation at this point, and we can switch this as well. So now at this point our object come and he stopped. You can still see some motions applied, and to modify that we need to actually go ahead and zoom in. So right now you notice this point a little bit too high. We need to readjust it. Okay, and now we have it no motion at all. So we fixed this overcompensation. Again, to zoom in, zoom out, you press and hold down Control and right click on your mouse. This way you can as well zoom in, zoom out, or move your windows as well. Again, to just zoom on a scale, you hold down Control and move your hold down Control, click right button on the mouse and move your mouse up and down. So it will be zoom in frame this way, or move your mouse same way left or right, it will zoom on your time frame. So it's kind of a little bit control over how you preview. Okay, this is kind of preview on your splines. So let's look on a couple other options we have right here. As well, you notice we have orientation available. And one thing, when I start changing, the options pop up with says interpolation mode change. Let's apply yes. And what's happening now, you notice in a display right here, it was a little bit adjusting how it will display. It's happened when your value just run over the value that displayed, so the view will automatically adjust, make it kind of easier to view your timeline spylines. So let's go ahead. We have orientation, we have its size, twist, pivot, and materials. And when you're using other objects like light, we also will have it power. So let's go here, create our lights. We'll go add keyframe. Okay, after keyframing. So as soon as we add keyframe, you notice right now we have another object appear in our properties. Now this object can be properties can be animated as well. So right here you will notice we have power and softness. By modifying and animating powers, we can make this light flickering or change depending on the time. Not all objects or all lights can be animated. Example, if we go ahead and convert our object to area light, and you will notice right now, let's modify this one. We'll set our area light at keyframe, and you notice right here we don't have it any power, so we actually cannot animate it intensity power for the area light. So how I say some properties may not be available to animate inside the view. It's have a workaround of this, but at this point I just want to show you that in some properties is available and some may not in view. Okay, so let's look on some other properties. We'll delete these objects. Okay, we'll go to our first frame automatically. We'll create cube. Okay, so here, and it will help us to understand some other options. We have it in automated wizard, how it's work. So example, we have it some rectangle, and it can be wings for the plane or anything. So let's go ahead, add keyframe to this. Okay, we'll go to back our 0 frame. We'll move maybe 1 second and just readjust. So you notice, because I have it, my after keyframe is enabled, it will automatically add keyframe for me. So next, what I want to do is just move on the middle and kind of readjust slightly. So if I preview at this point, you notice my airplane actually doesn't turn in a way it's going. So what's happening, it's kind of goes straight, but it doesn't have this motion with the wings. So to do this, we need to create additional animation with a kind of bang this wings and realign them, look forward towards the way we motion have it. Okay, so when we're using animation wizard, it will help us actually to realign and set properly way to do this. But let's look how we can do manually. One thing, we can change anytime our time points by click on them inside the view and just drag and readjust them. As well, we have it some velocity we can modify and thresholds for them. Okay, so let's do a couple things. Let's go ahead, cube, we'll click on position. And right here, you can notice when we click on all three, we see all our X, Y, and Z. Also, we view them in a color, so we can select properly. Okay, we can modify if you like to change to identify in different colors. You always can go ahead and modify as well. Also, we can select separate That will help us to click and select properly properties. Example, if you notice, we have the same keyframe on our X and our Z. So if we have it all three, we may click and accidentally drag wrong one. So by highlighting specific curve, we can just select this and adjusting. So let's do a couple things and modifying a little bit in a curving. So one thing what I want to do, I want to modify slightly on our Y position. Okay, it's meaning we can kind of a little bit twisting, where you can notice right here we're modifying. So let's go to next frame. Okay, last keyframe, and we'll just readjust as well. Okay, and actually this will be in more in orientation. So right at this point, you can notice when we're adjusting timeline, our spine line is automatically adjusted. Let's go to the first frame and readjusting as well. So right here is our frame. Okay, as well when we're going in a move. So let's select our frame. Okay, and we'll just slightly adjusting this way. So on right here you can see how we kind of animated airplane. So let's go to first frame again, and maybe slightly adjusted, so we have a better view of this. Okay, here's just a simple practice example of animation on different axes and how we was selecting them. Okay, the other things also what I want look it is options and properties. We have it on the right side. So the one we have it curves, so it will always showing our curves options. Is next to this is a filter, and this is actually a very important way you can modify and automate it. Example, we can go ahead open, and let's just select some time profile. Okay, here, and we'll set random. Let's click OK. You'll notice now we apply that filter to our timeline, so it does change at this point. And currently it maybe doesn't look very interesting because it's a randomly jumping. You can see right here on the screen. But it's again, it's we can anytime go ahead and reset it. Let me go ahead reset this time. Okay, but again, it will work very well when you try to adjust flickering light properties in this when you put it random, or you want to adjust maybe create small shaking for your engine, or creating any other ones. So you can modify and apply on your span line, use it through the filter already pre-created in other animations. Okay, we also have few additional options, and this is mostly for the display just above. So one is called the show persistent path. In this case, what's happening even we deselect it, you can see the path is available for us to view. Okay, next we have it show as a ribbon, and this is when we select the object, you can preview. We have it more in a way of the animations will display as a ribbon, so a little bit more. Other ones we have it, it's display tungsten. This is a normal velocity, but again, it will help you to kind of identify motions of your object. The other ones, it's not displayable, it's more open a toolbox. And inside the toolbox, it's same that will available, same toolbox that available for you through your animation properties. And in here, you can specify overall the type of animations, how you want object move. Also, we can specify spin or vibration for the object. So again, we will look a little bit more in our spine lines when we start creating live animations for the cameras and the object. Overall, right now, I just want you kind of understand what does spine lines do and how they control and how work to um, easy in and easy out or constant velocity. So when we look back to our animation wizard, you kind of understand what is other options will do when we're selecting by working and modifying spine lines. Thanks for watching this tutorial from Geekatplay Studio. Please remember to visit us on the web is www.geekatplay.com.